Sulema murder suspect claiming he was completing God's work. David Take challenging Roberta Bella to a DVM debate over unpaid VAT. And a golden handshake could see Justina Caruana walk away with €30,000 after her forced resignation. All this and more on today's episode of Lovin Daily. Good evening, Malta and Gozo, and welcome to another episode of Lovin Daily. I'm Julian Bonnici. Joining me today is Lisa Darmanin Demajo. There's nowhere else to start but some more shocking updates from the shocking murder in Slema yesterday. Lovin Malta has revealed that the young man suspecting of murdering Paulina Dembska, Abner George Aquilina, has claimed he was a soldier of God working to rid the world of evil during his police interrogation. For those of you who are unfamiliar of the story, Paulina Dembska was discovered early on 2nd January in the park in Independence Gardens in Slema. Abner Aquilina was arrested soon after in the area, not before making a stop at Baluta Church to cause quite a ruckus. Now, Lovin Malta has confirmed that Abner Aquilina was immediately taken into an interrogation. However, that was soon suspended after Abner Aquilina started making some very crazy claims, some very delusional claims, including that, he was working for God, how he was hearing frequencies in the lead up to the murder. A doctor immediately intervened and sort of said, listen, Abner Aquilina needs to go to Mount Carmel, where he currently is at. While interrogation has so far been suspended, the investigation is continuing and it's not going to stop Abner Aquilina being charged in court whatsoever. Now, Lovin Malta has also revealed some very shocking updates related to this case. Scores of women across Malta have claimed they were harassed by Abner Aquilina. Lovin Malta has seen and received numerous screenshots, numerous messages from Aquilina, sent actually from both his personal profile and fake profiles he had. The messages are quite worrying. He's looking for a sexual interaction, really pestering them, repeated messages, voice notes, you name it. He was really sending it all. Obviously, the case has shocked Malta for many aspects. There's obviously the shocking murder, there's also this mental health issue, and obviously another death of a woman in Malta. Lise, what do you think about it?
Obviously, this is a horrific story. It was extremely sad news to wake up to on the second day of the year. Again, initially, your reaction is, oh my God, more violence against women, and then the debate of mental health versus femicide arose, where he is claiming, actually he was taken to Mount Carmel because he has mental health issues. However, an advocate for women's rights has come forward and said this is not a mental health issue, and I have to agree because mental health affects many people and not many people are out killing women. And what you've just told us, Ju, about him harassing other women is also very worrying, because really it was just an unlucky twist of fate that it was Paulina and not any other one of these women. So if at any point you do feel that you're being threatened or pestered or made advances that you're not comfortable with, definitely report whoever is sending these messages and keep yourself safe and keep other people safe.
And just one message before we move on to the story. Condolences to Paulina's family,
Absolutely.
friends, relatives, anyone who knew her. It's a very shocking case, and our thoughts are with you at this time.
Our next story is David Take has challenged Prime Minister Roberta Bella to a TV debate over their respective tax situations. Last week it was reported that Vanilla Telecoms, owned by David Take, owes up around €270,000 in VAT. The Labour Party has described this as a clear case of tax evasion, and David Take denies this, saying that they actually initiated this process because the VAT department's website was not updated with the correct figures from 2016. And in response to these claims, David Take has challenged Roberta Bella to a TV debate where he will take all his files and paperwork, and he said that Roberta Bella should do the same, publish his own tax returns and clarify whether he has declared all his properties and his boats. It's kind of feels like a bit of playground politics, this kind of response. If Robert Abela has misappropriated some kind of tax, then he should be investigated by the relevant authorities and not a case of being challenged by one person accused of wrongdoing and seeing who's done the most or the worst.
Yeah, the place where all justice is upheld, right? TVM. But no, I mean, a story like this, makes me think, how many of these politicians, lawyers aren't paying VAT in the country? We all pay VAT. You do, I do. Can you imagine going to, I don't know, McDonald's and saying, listen, I'm not going to pay with VAT for that burger. It's all getting a bit ridiculous. We need to get to the bottom of all people's tax issues. On to our next story, from one political program to one that seems like a little bit of a complete different reality, but disgraced former Minister Justina Caruana could be set to pocket a €30,000 golden handshake following her forced resignation. For those of you who don't remember, Caruana was forced to resign in the wake of a damning Standards Commissioner's report into a $5,000-month contract she handed out to her boyfriend, former footballer Daniel Bogdanovic, for work, let's remind everyone, he didn't even do. Caruana and even the contract are now subject to criminal investigation, and she's been sort of booted out of cabinet, but still remains an MP until the general election, where she will officially step down. Sources have since told Lovin Daily that Caruana is now set to benefit from a handsome retirement package. It's part of an arrangement granted to all cabinet members who either resign or are replaced during a cabinet reshuffle. No wonder Abela didn't remove her himself. Cabinet Secretary Mario Cotayra has actually refused to confirm or deny this claim when he was contacted by the Shift News. Very worrying. This is the second time in less than 2 years Caruana is going to make away with this €30,000 package. This came after she first resigned in January 2020. That was after her estranged husband links to the Daphne Caruana Galizia murder. That's Silvio Valletta. He's believed to have leaked information on it. So who knew that resignation is going to get you a €60,000 golden handshake? I think we'd all want a little bit of that.
No, I mean, honestly, it's almost comical. It's ridiculous. I mean, we're laughing, but we should be enraged, that this policy is in place for people who have to be reshuffled or resign for whatever reason is understandable for members of parliament, but for it to be initiated twice for the same person, for each time having to resign for reasons that were not completely honourable, in my opinion, is just shameful, and stop throwing our money away.
Yeah, that's true. Our next story.
Yes, so we move on to the Malta Chamber of Commerce and the Employers Association, who have backed calls for workers to be obliged to be vaccinated. Marisa Schwirep is the president of the Malta Chamber of Commerce and said this obligation should be based on a risk assessment. So if a large number of people work in a small space, then employers should have the right to impose vaccination. Their view is that while everybody has a choice not to get vaccinated, choices have consequences, and for them, the loss of work should be one of the consequences of not being vaccinated. In my opinion, this is a bit of a heavy-handed approach. I think the majority of people are getting vaccinated. Already 50% of the population have received the booster. And as of the 17th of January, without the booster, you're extremely limited in any activity that you can carry out indoors, bars, restaurants, cinemas, gyms, etc. So if people feel so strongly about the vaccination that they're willing to give up all that sort of leisure activity to not take it, to then remove their right to work, personally, I think it is a bit excessive. I don't know, Drew, what you feel.
100% excessive and 100% counterproductive. As Lisa said, Malta is really genuinely one of the few countries in the world where the vaccine uptake has been really good. From the booster to any shot, Maltese people are ready to take this vaccine. Measures like this only seek to make people wary of it. I've never heard in any circumstance from when we were at school to now of something being imposed on someone and them wanting to do it. Actually, it just makes them want to do it even less. So hopefully we start seeing some sense. Let vaccinated do what they want, let unvaccinated do what they want. We're all Maltese, it's getting a bit ridiculous. On to our last story for any of you a bit stressed out over today's news. Really cool stuff. A cafe focused on high quality coffee beans is actually looking to introduce a CBD ingredient into some of their coffees. For those of you who don't know, Cannabidol oil is a non-psychoactive property inside cannabis. It helps with a lot of things, from anti-anxiety, anti-inflammatory, better sleep, all the works. But now, one little coffee shop in Valletta, Key Royal Cafe, is actually going to put a bit of oil in your coffee to help you with your day. The location is centrally located in Valletta, it's literally in the capital city. Hopefully it's going to deal with a lot of stress with everybody. I know maybe I might need it sometimes. I don't know what you think about it all, Lise.
All I have to say is that this is a welcome addition to the coffee scene on the Maltese Islands, and well done for initiating it. We look forward to many more being available around us, and we'll see you in Valletta.
Yeah, that's it from us from tonight, and remember, have an evening full of loving.